All right. How was that episode? Great. Once again, thank you for coming. My name is Tracy Brown. I'm a reporter at the LA Times. And before we get started, I have one big rule. Call it the prime directive of this Q&A. When the Q&A is over, we need everyone to stay in their seats. For logistical reasons, we need you all to stay in the seats while we move everyone out, and then we can dismiss you. So please, stay in your seats. Good? All right. Well, no one's here to listen to me, so without further ado, we got the cast and creatives of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. First, the EP and co-showrunner, Akiva Goldsman. Also EP and co-showrunner, Henry Alonso Myers. You may know him as James T. Kirk. Paul Wesley. Our favorite number one, Una Chin Riley, Rebecca Romijn. And last but not least, Mr. Spock, Ethan Peck. All right, let's go. Let's get right down to it. I'm a Captain Maria Bottell fan, so I have to start with how could you? But this question is for Akiva and Henry. Just to start off, can you talk a little bit about, at what point we can tell over the course of the season that you seeded this transformation, what's going to happen to her? But can you share a little bit about how you landed on this storyline for her, and this journey?
Well, Akiva put her in the pilot. She was one of the first people that we cast, and we kept thinking, God, she's such a good actress. We really need to find ways to bring her back. And every time we'd bring her back and put her in scenes with Pike, we were like, well, we really need to find reasons to have more scenes with them together. But as you kind of do that, you're sort of trying to explore what is it that reveals something about our characters that's different, that's new. The one thing that we knew from the pilot was that Pike knew what his future would be. And it came to us that this would be a surprise if he looked at his life and didn't realize that he was going to be around longer than every element of it. And that's something genuine for him to face that we sort of started talking about. I feel like that's where it started.
Thank you. Where do we go? Ethan. Start with you. I think I don't know any Star Trek fan that is not excited when a Vulcan mind meld is part of the story. And obviously, a Spock Kirk mind meld is probably a big deal for many of the people in here. Can you talk a little bit about what was your reaction to seeing it in the script, know when it's coming? How did you want to approach it?
So when is this? That's fine.
No, it's intentional.
You can hear me, right? You can hear me even better. Thank you, Georgie. So when I encounter moments like that in this show that are kind of, you can anticipate there being a fan response that might be excited or interested or fascinated. And I try not to think about that. I think when Kirk and Spock first meet, I remember Paul, the director, being like, they're meeting. This is a big thing. And I'm like, no. Like, you can't have that in mind when you do those sorts of scenes, because you really want to be in that moment and it be something that you're not thinking about as the character. And so, and
you're not supposed to play the end of a scene.
Of course. Thank you, Rebecca. Yes. So, we kind of, and it's such a challenging production schedule. It's such a grind, and we're working constantly. Dialogue's coming in and it's coming out. And so there's not much time to reflect either. So those moments kind of pass, and you don't really get to revel in them, for me at least. So that's my probably not exciting answer about how I prepared for it and what it was like for me.
Well, Paul, do you have a better answer? I'm just kidding.
Paul, you do it now.
God. No, I mean,
Tell us
it's
about the electricity.
yeah. I
Paul,
like to play
talk about
the
the
end of a
chemistry.
scene. That's how I approach my work. I like to foreshadow. No, no. I mean, I agree. You can't you can't overthink it, and you can't, yeah, it's a big deal, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm going to kind of say the same thing. It can't really be a big deal. It's a big deal on screen. It's a big deal in the story. But it's for us, we're still getting to know each other, and for us, we're just trying to save people, and that's kind of really how we played it. But now that I watched it, I was pleasantly surprised at how it was nice. It was a little spark. I felt a connection. A little spurk.
A little something.
A little spurk.
A little spurt.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
Spurk is a portmanteau of Spock and Kirk. You're welcome. Spurk.
We're giving all the
Thanks,
lessons
Stephen.
here. No. My next question is for Rebecca. In this episode, you Una goes from leading the away team on a mission, all dressed up, part of the action, all the way to you see her basically being the one to supporting Captain Pike through his grief. I think it's a great episode where you get to see the full range of the type of person Una is and everything that she can do. But my question is what is it like for you to see, get a script for an episode like this, and noticing the smaller, maybe more powerful moments and how you want to approach them?
I mostly focus on my relationship with Pike has always been just old friends, old friends, and I think we have approached every single moment and scene, and everything we've always dealt with has been with that bit of gravitas, whatever, and I think she's always been concerned about his journey and where he's going to go and his fears, and she's always been there for him, and so it continues.
All right. We started off so strong, so we're going to keep it going. Actually, back to Rebecca. We what was it, episode 8? Which episode was it? We've seen in the Vulcan episode, we see Una go from buttoned up, the officer we're used to, and we learn a little more about her past. We meet her ex-boyfriend. I guess, for you, what was it like to be able to play, in a more loose comedic space?
Incredibly fun. We've been waiting a long time to see if Una's ever had any sort of love in her life, and so we finally get to see not just who that was, and Patton Oswalt shows up.
Rebecca.
Oh,
Jerry's here.
yes. Oh,
Jerry,
can I
stand
talk
up.
about this? You okay?
Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. I understand. Patton Oswalt is the other one. I'm okay with that. We have an open relationship. Cool. We're Starfleet, man. We're modern.
Fluid. It's very fluid. I think it was very fun to play a different side of Una and to see what happens to Una when love comes on the scene. I don't think we've ever seen Una incapacitated before.
Yeah, you weirded Spock out.
I know. You didn't see that coming.
No.
It was very fun doing those scenes.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of love and Mr. Spock, Ethan, we've seen Spock this season go from a little bit of heartbreak to a little bit of maybe new romance. Yes, new romance. Can you talk a little bit about Spock's, just his romantic side, exploring these relationships and his humanity, and diving into that this season?
Yeah, I mean, as I sort of look back on it, it's a surprise to me, I think, as much as it is for people that are used to Spock not exploring those parts of himself. But I think the theme of Strange New Worlds as Spock is collecting data on his humanness and figuring out what is useful and what is not, and what to bring forward and what not to. I don't think it's a process that he's conscious of, but it's occurring. And thank you to the writers for creating that that data set for me for him. And so yeah, I mean I was really surprised when I saw them put these two characters together, but in a way it makes a lot of sense because they both have this rich inner struggle and inner conflict. I mean, like many of us do, but for them I think it's so pronounced in their characters. So it makes perfect sense to me that they would combine and relate in the way that they do. But yeah, it's been really charmed, the experience.
Yeah.
Paul, I think like everyone in here, you get a little bit excited when Kirk is in an episode. I think what's been fun with this show is we've seen so many different versions of Kirk, different timelines. I guess I'm curious, like, how do you approach these different shades of Kirk? How do you balance where Kirk is, where your Kirk is in the journey versus juggling just the awareness of what Kirk means to a lot of people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very aware of that Kirk has this. He's the great American hero of television, and it's it's a big, heavy sort of thing to carry, and I try not to think about that when I'm playing the role. But what I love about Strange New Worlds is that every episode is different. And so every episode I'm able to show a different side of Kirk. So if he's subdued in one episode, and then we can, he plays a 1960s version of a over-the-top, actor named Maxwell Saint who has maybe some, similarities to some other people. And we can sort of play, and that's what's so fun about this character. I am excited for people to see what happens in season 4, and also I'm excited for what I'm going to do in season 5, because we are ultimately going to a final destination, which is the Kirk that is the fully formed Kirk that we know from TOS, and we're not there yet, but I'm really excited to go there and to play that. And I have no idea what I'm going to do.
But I've seen it, if I may add, there are moments in the season that we've just completed where I see the formation, and it's been really exciting. It's been really
it's
exciting.
been really
and
fun.
You should all be excited too.
Thank you, Ethan. No, I'm excited for that, for that evolution. So yeah.
For Akiva and Henry, can you speak a little bit on that of giving these legacy characters room to grow and evolve and having room to play around while also understanding that there's a bunch of people out there that really know their canon.
There are indeed. Henry always says that they don't know who they're going to be. And I think that's really sort of our watchword when it comes to characterization. They're not the folks that we grew up with, or I grew up with, because I'm really old. Yet, they will be. They're the precursors. And so how they get there is exciting, but they also have to be characters who are compelling to folks who don't know who they're going to be, because we try to make the show both for us and for my wife, who can't stand Star Trek. And so that means that they have to be dramatically compelling and interesting, and their relationships have to work for the now as well as for the future.
Appropriately.
In season 3, we get there's a lot of. I think the fun part about Star Trek is, Star Trek isn't the genre. Each episode says it could go into different, we see, the wedding episode, there's the noir mystery this season, there's things that are much more like horror, zombies. Can you talk a little bit about, how you break down, I don't want to say break down, but how do you pick and choose, or how do you land on what direction you want to go each season? Which, what kind of genre space you want to play in?
Well, I think we kind of come at it from two perspectives. We look at all of the characters and try to figure out what is it that we want to make them go through this season? What do we want to express? How do we want to show them learning or changing or figuring out something about who they are, who they're going to be, experiencing something difficult or challenging, doing something funny. And then the other one is we honestly sit down and say, what are movies that we want to do? We tend to look a lot at classic Trek that has inspired us, and say, all right, well, if we were going to do this now, how can we do it differently? Like, what's the difference between what they would have done in the 60s and the way we would approach it today? So how can we express the characters in a different, I would say, more modern fashion? How can we, and the other side of that also is how can we give the actors something interesting to do? One of the, I think this is not even a secret, but this is like one of the great things about doing television, is you work with a lot of really talented people. And rather than coming in and saying, this is what I want you to do, you come in and you say, what do you want to do? And what are you good at? And what would be fun for you? And you try to make that work for as many of them as possible. Give them a fun thing to do. And it ends up making the job fun. And it ends up making what they are trying to do fun on screen. That stuff weirdly carries through effectively.
I mean, to the actors, are there genre spaces you are, when you get a script and you see you get to play in a different playground, like what are the ones that excite you?
I don't think everybody here was completely excited for the musical episode, but I sure was. I was very excited. Ethan?
It was fun. It was a great challenge. It was enjoyable ultimately.
Also, there are challenges they give us that we never knew we wanted, and then we do it, and like there's something in season 4 that I get to do that you guys will never guess what it was, but I did it. I was like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way. And then I did it, and I was like, man, I never knew I wanted to do that challenge. So good. But yeah, you guys give us some good opportunities.
I think it's worth noting that what we get to do, which the original series didn't get to do because our character arcs are serialized, is we get to utilize genre as a way of sort of telling the evolution or the most sort of current iteration of the character using the genre tool, and so the musical being the greatest example of that, the most effective still so far in my view, in that we were stuck at a moment, at an episode 9 moment, a penultimate moment in season 2, where a tremendous amount of character relationship resolution was required. And suddenly we found ourselves in a genre where you sing your subtext, which is the greatest way to get a lot of people to talk about their feelings and be able to tolerate it. So, and that's what's fun about genre, is you use it to do the thing you need for your characters.
This builds off one of the earlier questions I had for Ethan, but watching Spock and Lon have more interactions this season, I'm curious to the actors, who has your character interacted with that you've, just that dynamic that you maybe didn't even think you would enjoy, but it's like watching it grow and develop over the course of it's 3 seasons plus now.
Well, not to steal Ethan's thunder, but I think La'an and I have a lot of chemistry together. No, Chrissy and I love working together. Christina and I have loved each other since day one, and I really value that relationship.
God, I had, I remember the time travel episode that we were talking about Chrissy. Let's talk about Chrissy. The time travel episode that we did, yeah, I mean, I'm going to sing her praises. A lot of times you're working with someone and it feels like work, and then sometimes it just doesn't. And usually when it doesn't, it translates on screen. There's something very natural and fluid and believable. And I find that my relationship, Kirk's relationship with La'an, has a flow to it that I can't explain, but it works. And so, yeah, I echo that.
We all love Christina Chong.
Yeah, she's very good. She has chemistry with everyone. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to the writers, what pairings do you enjoy, or do you think like, oh, I haven't paired this character up yet? I don't know. Like, how do you come up with? Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about walk us through the process?
Sure. For us, it's strictly cash based. So, what happened, for example? Am I allowed to? Yeah. So what happened, for example, was we said to Ethan, "How much money do you have?" And Ethan said, "Some." And we said, "How much is some?" And he showed us, and we were like, "Okay, who do you want to work with?" And so then we took the money from Ethan, and we wrote some scenes for him, and then. What was weird is Paul then said, well, I have some money, and I want some scenes with her. And that's pretty much how it goes.
It's great because we ran out of the first money at
Yeah,
that point. So
yeah.
It was very helpful.
So, yeah, cash-based.
Yeah. So it's a fair system, I think.
Credit
I think
based.
so. Well, you have all that Vampire Diaries money. You're just going to,
That's why I'm on screen all the time.
Want. Yeah.
Like, why is Kirk in this episode? Yeah.
All this time, I thought there was like a wheel you spun just to see where it landed on.
There used to be.
Getting episode specific, Ethan, I just want to know in the 4.5 Vulcans episode, did you have to give anybody Vulcan tips?
I didn't have to. Some inquired, and I happily shared my notes, which, as I began to speak about them, sounded so ridiculous.
No, Patton
Like-
came to you with very specific questions.
Patton?
Yeah, you helped Patton a lot. Didn't the thing that you shot at the bar during the end credits, doesn't that come out of a real conversation that you had with Patton about contractions? I think
Yeah,
I
maybe.
was there for that.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
I guess
were,
so.
yeah, he was asking you about contractions, and you were like, Vulcans don't do contractions. We don't do that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that turned into what they shot in the end credits at the bar. Am I wrong?
No, I guess
No.
you're not.
Okay.
He's a really funny guy.
He's a really funny guy, and he really wanted to get it right, so he went to you.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Definitely he did. But, everyone's been around me so much that... What?
He's in character.
What?
Are you in character right now?
What? What are you talking about? Yeah, I think he did. I don't remember, to be honest with you. Like I said, we fly through stuff. Like, there's no time to reflect and kind of be like, wow, this happened, But thank you for reminding me of that. Because that's awesome that he asked me. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think everyone's been around me so much that I don't think they needed many notes. And they very quickly I feel like there was like some impersonation of what I was doing. Not an impersonation, it's something more endearing than that occurred. And I think each character had their like OCD kind of. But it was funny because they're all full Vulcan and Spock's half Vulcan, which is the whole butt of the joke. And I got to be on the outside once again, and they all got to be Vulcans together. It was a really fun time. I'm done.
Was the human side of Spock irritated by Vulcans?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, to see everyone transformed into Vulcans it had this really weird sense of family. Like, suddenly my family was on the ship because I'm never around other Vulcans. And that was strange. And then they all made fun of me. So that was tough to swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow, But such is life.
Well, and in fairness, Doug, who's the only other actual Vulcan there, appreciated
He
you.
did appreciate
He
Spock.
not only appreciated you,
Yeah.
he appreciated all of the things that you could teach him about humanity. Yeah.
That's right.
Which kind of goes to show that, like with human beings, there are many perspectives.
This episode really hurt your feelings, didn't it?
Hurt Spock's feelings.
Yeah.
Probably Ethan's a little bit, somehow.
Okay.
Somewhere.
We can talk about it later.
We'll have a drink after.
Okay.
Rebecca, there's a few times this season, I think, where Una has to be the one who, is, I don't want to say the voice of reason, but she has to be the one to tell people, like, no, we can't do that, even though you want to. Like, the zombie episode where Ortega stands up against her, and she has to put her down. She has to also discipline her. I guess I'm curious about how you think about, Una's growth and development as she has these moments where she's not always, sometimes she's kind of, I don't want to say butting heads, but she's like gentle and firm just the type of leader she's becoming?
Yeah, I think it's a gradual, we get to see what Una could be like as captain or in command. And it was, I think, once she, came out as a Larian and she's freed up to, live to her fullest potential, it's nice to see that who she might be and to how she would treat Ortegas in cases of insubordination, and how she would be in command.
I'm also curious about over the course of these 3 seasons, for the actors specifically, like what has been a joy to see in your characters' kind of growth, as because it is unlike other Treks. This is a story like there's like time is passing. You see them growing and evolving.
I mean, in watching like TOS, there is a lot of, you do learn a lot about the history of Kirk, but it's very quick. There's your brother. Oh, he's dead. Okay. It's like very, I enjoy taking these kernels, these little things that are, just pieces of information from TOS and exploring them in an emotional way. My relationship with Sam Kirk, I don't want to give away too much, but we learn more about, just Kirk's emotional ties to other humans. And I think you're humanizing a very important character in American, television history. So, we're exploring, the human side of a lot of sort of things that are well known in canon, but not necessarily from an emotional perspective.
I think for Una, it's been about exploring her connections with her crew and all the relationships. And this is the human side of Trek, the human side of Trek, really. Of course, we all go down to the planet and we do the thing. It's mission of the week. But really, it's a show about connection and these relationships.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that with Spock, he's learning about how unique he is and how different than other he is, as we all are from one another. But I think it's so important for him because he's betwixt these 2 very different worlds. And I see in the course of the show him becoming more certain in his sort of difference, the way he's different, which I think is really wonderful.
Well, this finale ended with getting that right data and going, like there's enough information here for a 5-year mission. Obviously, you filmed season 4, but can you talk a little bit about what you hoped is part of that? Like, what kind of places do you want your characters to go?
For us?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Why don't you start, Paul?
Say nothing.
Yeah.
Without giving
Thanks,
anything
Ethan.
away.
Well, I'm excited about our relationship, man.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah,
I think they're, Spock and Kirk are yin and yang. And I'm excited. I love being on screen with you.
Yeah, me too.
I like hanging out with you in person as well.
Yeah, man.
You're a great guy.
What's up, dude? Yeah, what's up, dude? Hey, back
Hey,
up.
hi, Rebecca. Do you mind? Yeah, do you mind? Yeah. Yeah, you're all right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
George,
We can't say anything.
you can't. To our showrunners, what can you tease to the audience who've been patient?
Thank you guys for following us along with us on this journey. It's been there were certainly sort of stumbling blocks along the way, and season 3. I'm very happy it's over, because we had a strike and we sort of had to sort of manage to all sort of work on the fly a little bit. I think season 4, for me, is the best work we've done.
I love season 4.
I love season 4. And so, they're just, everybody's sort of, in my view, hit their stride,
I think that's very true. I mean, we try to approach every season from the idea of if this was the last season, what do we want to do? Like, let's just treat it like we don't get to do another one. Let's try everything that we could possibly want to try, and it is a it's a crazy, dynamic, interesting, terrifying, and exciting season.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to the panelists once more time, for the cast and crew.
Thank you all for being
Thank
here.
you.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, remember the prime directive. Please stay in your seats, or you can stand up and applause. But our cast has to go to their next Q&A.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Happy Star Trek Day.